I am going to talk about 3 mental superpowers to overcome adversity and strengthen your mind from my book, A High Performing Mind. By adopting these 3 superpowers, you can permanently improve your life and have a better life for the rest of your life. So instead of spending a lot of downtime feeling unhappy or depressed and that life isn't fair, you spend a lot more of your life hours and days feeling happy, empowered, and like you can achieve whatever you put your mind to. So it sounds like a pretty big promise, but that's what these 3 superpowers can do. And these 3 superpowers are mental tools or ways of thinking that will change your life for the better. You can only achieve these 3 superpowers, though, however, not just by hearing about them. I'm going to describe them. You probably even heard some of them before, but by actually making them habits in your life. So that's the most important part of this. And the way we make those things become habit is by using them on a daily basis. 2016, not a good year, specifically starting in October. That was the year that my +9 became a -6. I didn't even know it was possible to go below 0, but that's how bad I was. That's how bad I felt. And that's the number I would have given myself at the time. It was going so great. And in a heartbeat, life changed dramatically. Let's find out what happened. So I went home, and that was not a relief at all. It was actually a huge wake up call about what was about to come. I had to crawl up the stairs of my house. I still remember it to this day. And I was so weak that when I got to the top of the stairs, I had to lie down on my side, panting like I had just run a 100-meter sprint for 20 minutes before I was strong enough to go the extra 10 feet to crawl into bed. And I would end up being in bed 22 hours a day for the next 4 months, unable to leave, unable to work, unable to make a living for my family, and panic and depression set in hard. Depressed, scared. I cried almost every day for everything that I had lost. My fear of not being able to support my family, letting everybody down, not being able to play sports anymore, not being able to do anything, not even being able to go up a flight of stairs. It was a dramatic turn of events. I was so weak that if you yelled at me or if I had an argument with somebody, I would need several hours to recover. I was so weak that my son's 3rd birthday came along, which was just downstairs. I couldn't even go. I couldn't make it. I just felt so terrible. I was able, through this diet, to become more stable enough to return to work an hour and a half a day, then 2 hours a day, then 4. Then eventually it took a year and a half, but I got to a full day of work. Ultimately, this whole experience and recovering from hypophosphatemia, I thought it would be never. The doctors probably did too, but it took 8 years and I eventually got back to real life in 2024. But I'll tell you more about that in a moment. It's nice when you have that support system, but we don't always. We have to take matters into our own hands. The moment we make that decision, we empower ourselves. It is really important that we train our mind to find the silver linings in our dark periods if we're to go through them. And that can be a short, dark period like failing. What's the lesson from failing on an exam? Well, you didn't work hard enough or study in a best way to make yourself succeed. What's the silver lining in going through a dark illness, a difficult illness like I went through? Well, I'll tell you. First and foremost, I became a more resilient human being. I had to learn to operate my life and perform. This is performing. Performing is going to work. Performing is picking up your kids. Performing is studying and succeeding on an exam. I had to learn to perform in debilitating situations where I felt terrible. I felt weak. I had all kinds of debilitating symptoms, seizures, low blood pressure, periods where my phosphate would crash out and I could barely lift my head off my hands at my desk. I would sit in the chair and just waiting for the period to pass. I had periods when I had to go and do a presentation at work. And the problem with that was because my phosphate was always precariously like in the middle of where it should have been or low of where it should have been. When you have adrenaline come into your body, it actually makes your phosphate crash even more. So I would feel like, am I going to even be able to stay conscious through this whole presentation? So that's the way I felt at the time. So I became more resilient. All that stuff made me more resilient. And I became more appreciative of what good health felt like and how valuable that was to be in good health. That's something that you can be very appreciative you have in this moment. It's something I'm very appreciative I have in this moment. Again, I was given a second chance. We all get second chances. Sometimes we fail at an exam or we don't get into university, but we'll get second chances to make that right in the future if we learn from our mistakes. If we don't learn from our mistakes, setbacks, and failures, we're doomed to repeat those over and over again until we do learn and can improve and make adjustments in how we're doing things so we can succeed in the future. Because I went through something so hard, it made everything else feel easier by comparison. I also got a lot of insight into how my mind worked because I was going through depression and all kinds of feelings of devastation. I learned that what I focused on and what I said to myself really impacted how I felt. So I could tell a terrible story to myself about how I was never going to recover. And all that would do was disempower me and prevent me from looking for solutions. Or I could tell myself a story about how I could change the way I think, focus on finding solutions, adjusting what I'm doing, and searching for answers so that I could one day extricate myself from that dark hole that I found myself in. I promised you 3 superpowers. All right. The first is the simplest, and you've probably heard it before. But do you do it? Remember what I said earlier. It doesn't matter if you've heard it before. It matters if you are doing it all the time. Is this a habit in your life? So ask yourself, do I always learn from my mistakes, setbacks, and failures? Mistakes don't make you worse. They are learning opportunities. They are signs that there's more to learn here, and learning is fun. Learning makes you better, and learning paves the way for succeeding in the future. What you learn in your hardest moments is the foundation for your future success. And I also sometimes say, what you learn in your hardest moments is the foundation for your best results, because those lessons are the things that are going to get you to your best results. Expecting that there will be hard moments in your life makes you more resilient. Just expecting. If you think life should never be hard, never be challenging, you will take away your ability to be resilient, because you'll be like, this is unfair. This shouldn't be happening. And then you're no longer looking for ways to improve. And you're not resilient. You feel bad for long periods of time because you become a victim. You think about how life is going bad, how people aren't treating you fairly, how things never work out. And that just makes you feel bad. Nobody else can hear those thoughts, just you. And when you think those thoughts, your heart feels bad and you feel unhappy. When you're not resilient, when your group exercise instructor doesn't show up, your day is ruined. When your coffee is too cold, your day is ruined. Who wants to have a whole day ruined over a small thing like that? When you're resilient, you go, oh, well, that happens. And you move on and you try to find other positive things or positive things in your circumstances. Instantly improve your resilience, as I mentioned, just by anticipating and expecting that there will be challenges. That's normal. There will be challenges. Okay. When that challenge comes along, what do? I'm supposed to find positive actions that I can take to improve my circumstances or help someone to improve their circumstances. That's the key to becoming more resilient. Now, there's things you can do in the moment too. We'll talk briefly about them. When something bad is happening, you got to get very present with what's going on. Breathe, calm yourself down, go for a walk, process, allow yourself to feel bad. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel bad. It's going to happen, but don't linger there for longer than is necessary. I went through periods of depression through my illness, and I quickly learned that it wasn't helping and that I had to try to find a way to make myself feel better. And as soon as I became proactive and found some hope that I could get myself out of the situation, I was able to shift away from that. Now, the third superpower in your life that you can add to your life, I should say, is noticing that you have the power, that your mind has the power on how you can respond to your circumstances. Sometimes it's automatic. I felt depressed for a while, but at some point, I was able to respond by taking positive actions to construct this diet, this low inflammation diet, which helped me recover my strength to the point where I was able to get back to work. So I chose at that point to take positive actions and do something about my circumstances. That takes training. It's very easy to get stuck in the negative and that to become a habit. Everybody here is really young, in the grand scheme of things, between 14 and 18 years old. This is the time to train your mind. If you do it well now, you will have it for the rest of your life. And I will tell you, it can become harder to train your mind when the habit's long standing. If you have a parent or a sibling or a friend who's very negative and that rubs off on you and you're always thinking about the negative and how things are going wrong, that can become a habit. We need to be vigilant. We need to be careful. We want to create habits to always find the silver lining in every situation. Always think of the cup as half full instead of half empty. This is training. As mentioned, when you are resilient, it becomes easier to choose how you respond. So that's the third superpower. Now, the ability to respond. This is really, really important. Right now, each and every one of you talks to yourself. We all talk to ourselves. But are you aware of what you're saying to yourself? What story are you telling about what happened to you? Someone broke up with you. Are you telling yourself a story that you're worthless, that you'll never meet anybody again? Someone you get sick, it can happen, or a loved one, they'll never recover. Oh my God. What stories are you telling yourself? Be aware of what you say to yourself. Instead of why do bad things always happen to me, which is only disempowering, it doesn't give you the ability to act. If you keep thinking, why do bad things always happen to me? You are not thinking about how to make it better. So you want to replace that with, how can I make this better or improve this situation? Language matters. And this is something that's covered in chapter 12 of A High Performing Mind, both versions. And it's really important, as I said, to monitor your language and what are you saying to yourself and even what do you say to other people? Are you disempowering your friends or are you empowering them, right? What kind of friend do you want to be? Instead of why do I always fail, replace that with how can I learn from this experience, adjust, and make the situation work or make the situation better? All right. Another example. Instead of why can't I, replace it with how can I? How can I? Why can't I leads to misery, as we've covered. You feel bad by telling yourself, why can't I? You're telling yourself a negative story about yourself. How can I? It's forgetting any stories and just saying, what's real here? What can I do in reality to make myself feel better or to make my circumstances or situation better? There's always a way, but you have to train yourself and become creative so that you can find that. What does high performing mean? Why did I use those words? When you become high performing, it means that you are focused, you are determined, you are resilient, and you can choose to make the most of every situation. That is really the critical point. And on top of that, A High Performing Mind, the book also teaches you how to face your fears, have positive habits and mindsets to empower you. For example, the mindset to always do your best. Do you try to always do your best in every moment of every day? That is a very important skill. And how to perform at your best when it matters. And that's really important because when you perform at your best, you get better results. When you get better results, you get good things happen to your life, like promotions and job opportunities and raises and all kinds of things. So results do matter in the business world for sure. For most of you, probably headed. As we know, the world is a challenging place in many ways. Being high performing helps you through that. There are wars, as we know. There's AI that's a new challenge, changing the work landscape for a lot of you, making you probably make different choices about what you're going to do in university. There's famine, there's environmental concerns. Life can be hard, as we know, as we said. Being high performing enables us to work hard and try our best for ourselves and others. And we're going to need that. You're going to need that. There are times when you're going to need help, and there's going to be times when you need to help people, the ones you care about, anybody. When we feel better about ourselves when we help people, that's actually a superpower in itself, becoming a helping person, a person of service in the world where you try to help the world and other people best you can. And other people feel better because you helped. So it is double positive. The world needs high performers, and I encourage all of you to become high performing. When we work hard for ourselves and each other, we do our best, we make the world a better place, and we can look forward to some positive things happening. All right. Final notes, quick summary. Our 3 high performing mind mental tools or superpowers to strengthen your mind from today. Learn from your mistakes, failures, and setbacks. Adopt that growth mindset. Learn in every moment. I call that being a constant learner. Take those second chances and adjust your approach so that you can have a different outcome the next time around. Strengthen your resilience. And that's just a decision to expect that there will be challenges in life, which you already know. Don't dwell in those dark places for long. Okay. It's normal to feel upset, but move yourself towards finding solutions, become solution oriented. And don't forget, last but not least, probably most important, language matters. What stories are you telling yourself? Tell yourself the best possible stories. Give yourself hope. Be an optimist. Find those silver linings. First of all, I learned pretty early on to use energy of stress. I don't actually see stress as a negative, to be honest, in my life anymore. Stress was something I could use. If I was stressed about an exam coming up, I would use that energy to study as much as I could for that exam. If I was stressed about some bad things that were happening in my life, I would go and work out and use that energy to make myself fitter and stronger. So I always try to use stress as energy to do things that are positive for myself, to move my life forward in a better way. So it's a great tool. Fear is the same thing. If I'm scared of a certain outcome, if I'm scared of failing, instead of just standing there like a deer in the headlights, I use that fear to inspire myself to go and study so I don't get that bad result that I'm scared of. I see my fear as a friend. I thank my fear for the message. Oh, yeah, that's true. I could fail. I better study extra hard so that I don't. So I've learned to use the negatives in my life, the stress, the fear, to move myself in a positive direction. And I think sports and working out, go for a run. Everybody can go for a run or a walk, or mostly everybody. That's a great way to kind of balance out the energy. And then while you're on that walk or run, ask yourself, how am I going to use this energy? Because at the end of the day, stress is energy. How am I going to use it to move myself in the direction I want to go? So great question.